or July 2021 podcast.
Should we
We
just
did
call
not
it
do a
the?
June 1 technical difficulties and various things happening in people's lives, and I got sick and whatever. Anyway, the
It's been
next one,
cursed.
the next podcast, what'd you say?
This has been a cursed podcast.
Yeah, yeah. The next podcast will be at the end of August. But anyway, for June, but actually July, we have watched Doctor Stone, Stone Wars. And as a refresher for anyone who saw Doctor Stone years ago or whatever, um, Doctor Stone is about a basically a magic wave came over the entire world, and everyone turned to stone. And thousands of years went by, and everything humanity created has been completely taken over by nature. There's almost no remnants left, except for the humans that are still encapsulated in stone. People start to break out and wake up, and they have to rebuild. But anyway, that's the premise. So if you've seen the first season, which I hope you have, if you haven't, this podcast is not for you. But anyway, let's get into the animation. What did you guys think?
No, it was all right. I mean, one thing to note very quickly, it's just the context appropriateness of this. So, recap for anybody who hasn't seen it: just boy genius creates a faction to recreate civilization. Rival faction led by the school jock. When I put my mouse, this school jock right here. And he's trying to rebuild electronics and stuff like that. And he succeeds in building a phone. Ironically, we've been having issues with our phones and tablets and stuff. So, anyways, go ahead with the animation.
All right. So in comparison to the first season, I think the animation improved slightly. You can tell the budget got a little bit bigger just on that end. I think it's one of the only things that really improved from the show was the animation style. It, I mean, I remember like we said that the first season was average. Some of the faces we didn't really like, but continuing that style over, it was a little crisper. There was a bunch of like cool moments with it as well. So I think all in all, it's well done for an improvement, but it's also still just like kind of basic at the end of the day.
Yeah, there were still some issues with like facial modeling that carried over. For instance, some characters have eyes that are too far apart. But I'm kind of looking at it now, and it doesn't look quite as bad as it did in the first season. Uh, Otherwise, it all looks pretty great, or it all looks pretty good. The these second seasons tend to have higher budgets and more time put into them because they know they'll be successful, and we definitely see that reflected. Uh, Character modeling has gotten better, and animation is definitely more fluid than I remember it being. But keep in mind that was like 2 years ago since I've seen the first season, so take that with a grain of salt.
Uh, I honestly don't have much opinions regarding animation outside a couple of things regarding some consistencies regarding Homura's gymnastics, and I'll be honest with you, unless you're a contortionist, that spine will not bend like that. Also, the battle scenes. The battle scenes were considering this was the second arc, the Stone Wars. Well, the vehicle design is actually not bad compared to like the manga, but at the same time, regarding the art style, not much has improved. Yes, I do agree. I do agree with the guys. Honestly, at sometimes it weirds me the fuck out, especially Kohaku's. Kohaku, honestly, what the hell? Who the hell designed these characters? He looks so messed up, man. And also,
Yeah,
fucking
Yeah,
Sorry Head. Also,
the
fucking Sorry Head.
eyes are definitely still too far apart on her.
It's like they try to make Western characters, but they don't have much of a reference, and just what with whatever the fuck they wanted. In the case of characters like Leland Weinberg,
I'm just gonna throw this in there.
Lillian Weinberg. I love that
Like,
scene.
I I mean, like, if we're just gonna compare art style, I mean that comes down to like how the manga was written. And that's gonna be an issue. So like, there's that. So whenever I'm talking animation, I normally like it's like I'll bring up the art style, but I don't want to like harp on it too much. Um,
no. Go
but
for it.
like,
Go for
but
it. Go
like,
ham on it.
but what I'm saying is like, whenever I'm talking about animation, I'm talking about how they interpret the manga over into an anime or how the animation looks. And if it's a solo, if it didn't come from any piece of like outside work, then you can harp on the art style a little bit more. But whenever it comes to like facial structure, if they're following how the manga looked, like that is how it is. I think like they're trying to distinguish how uh like the different uh
A different art style
yeah.
regarding the manga and the anime, but usually that
Oh, I
doesn't
was gonna
translate
say
very well.
I was gonna say like they're trying to differentiate like the people that are reborn to the people that were already there, or sorry, the new people now. And outside of like the cracks, I think they were trying to like add something else, and it just didn't. It
You mean
that's like
outside
the
of the
biggest thing. Is like the faces are basically the only like issue with animation. Everything else is okay. Like I understand that like she's a contortionist, like gymnastic crazy thing, and that's more into the disbelief area because there's a lot
Yeah.
of things that we can harp on about like how crazy all of the people were, but I wouldn't say that like that was an art style issue.
I'll be honest with you.
Hey, no, Lewis,
I
hold up. Hey, Lewis, hold up. No, I agree with Josh, especially because I've skimmed through the manga out of curiosity, and her design is spot on. It's just the animations like that. But go ahead.
I was gonna say that at least they tried. They're a little confused, but at least they tried regarding the tree leap animation between Kohaku and Homura, and that was just like the first episode. And then there's the battle scenes. They're actually pretty decent, honestly. They're not bad, but they're not good either.
One thing I will praise it for is things like mechanical devices. I didn't really notice like all that much use of CGI.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't like think of any like major use of CGI that they did off the top of my head.
I can think of one, but it wasn't badly done.
Yeah. If
Not
they
even a
if they
vehicle
use
this time.
CGI a lot, I didn't notice.
Yeah. So.
Strangely enough, not even the vehicular design was actually done in CGI that much.
Yeah,
Like,
even the flashbacks they had pretty good. Like the when it shows like I think it's the rocket shuttle. Like even the flashbacks were well done.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
We are on a time frame, so last thoughts.
It was good especially for a kid show. Like fighting scenes for a kid show are hard to do, and I think it was well done for that. Outside of that, it's average.
All right. Let's go on to the music and sound design. Um, be honest, I think the sound design is definitely improved. Um, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything particularly off like we had in the first season, like somebody's neck being cracked, sounding like cutting meat or something,
Yep.
which happened in the first season. I didn't hear anything off about that, like that was. Um, music was about the same as the first season, which is to be expected. Does
Nobody
anyone else
else?
have any takes?
Uh,
It
me.
was okay. It wasn't anything crazy. Voice acting was okay. Nothing
I like the
out
music.
of the ordinary. Yeah, the music, but yeah, I think the music was good. Like, I know that Lewis has some issues with the opener. I thought the opener was good, and the ending was good. But I think if you would have flipped those, that would have been better.
Agreed.
And I think, yeah, and I think the song in the middle of it, where like she was singing, like, like that was well done too. So, like,
Interestingly enough, the chick who sang that song regarding Lilian Weinberg is actually a British performer, and I thought it was interesting that they actually managed to hire her for the second season.
It's pretty cool.
Considering that her voice actress Lynn is also a singer, I mean, Lynn would have done the job, but the thing is, Lynn, when it comes to English, is not. Let's say
Spot
she's not
on.
very good
Yeah,
at
she's
it.
not spot up. Yep.
So I can see why the outsourcing. And here's the thing, her singer is actually not as she's not really that famous, to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned. She's on theater work, but outside that,
Yeah.
regarding the voice
Yep.
acting, I like the it's still consistent as usual.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Considering regarding Yusuke Kobayashi, nailed the park as usual. That's the guy who, of all things, plays R2. I know RJ.
Well, yo, real quick. I gotta say something. So the thing that I liked the most was the quality of the sound. Even when they're on the telephone, I understand what they're saying. It wasn't. It's obvious they put a little bit extra more effort in season 2 than they did with season 1. And I don't know if you guys noticed that with just the well, one, the extent of sounds there are, and two, quality sounds. Neko, hey, we're finishing up thoughts on season 2 of Doctor Stone.
We're finishing up thoughts on sound design specifically.
Yep.
So whenever you get your stuff set up.
I told you this is a cursed podcast.
Yeah, it is.
I swear.
Oh, and then some.
Yeah, I swear the anti-science faction has personally cursed us.
Oh, and then some.
Yeah.
We-
They got around the fire, put a hex on us, and all that. Yeah. As far as like this season compared to last season, there's not too much to be said as far as aesthetics go with like sound design and stuff. That's why we're just kind of breezing through this without any takes.
yeah,
I think it'll be
plot heavy.
more, yeah, it'll be more interesting when we talk about the characters and plot.
Oh,
So unless Neko here has any takes on music or sound design. Nope. All right.
Can I finish my part regarding the sound design?
Yeah.
Wrap up your thoughts. Go ahead.
Considering that the guy who also played Subaru Natsuki in ReZero, he's doing a better job at playing Senku, and by at least 10 million%. Regarding the voice actors, a few I recognize, a few others I had to look them up. Like for example, the fact that Tsukasa's little sister also plays Amber in Genshin, I was like, damn, seriously?
Are you serious? That's awesome.
For real, Manaka Kiwami plays her in the Japanese dub. Like, damn.
We've got multiple voice actors who are on other big projects. All right. Anyways,
Yeah,
moving on to the next phase.
Yep. Let's
yeah. Let's go.
let's talk about the characters.
I need to start this off. I
Okay.
fucking love, as much as I hate him as a person, I love Hyoga. He just reminds me of Zabuza from Naruto, only because of the design, but also because the way he runs, the way like I like. So I like the initial antagonist, but Hyoga's design is just great, and like it's also appropriate. Like when he gets unmasked, he's got those cracks on his face because he's even more treacherous than Gen. Because he's just an actor, but this dude he backstabs his own like real life buddy that he knew
Yeah.
beforehand. So
Well, Gen is treacherous to people who he who are going, who are like against the people he's actually loyal to. So he's not really that treacherous.
exactly.
He's more like he's more like treacherous to outside threats to his own group.
But yeah, Gen is better at like he was such a like manipulator, and like he's only in it for himself. So it's like to be on his side, you have to convince him why you do that.
You know who
Yeah.
he reminds
But
me
then
of?
once he's on your side, as it
Yeah,
appears, he's not going to like stab you in the back.
yeah. Especially if like he's fully behind it, because it's like if he knows that your outcome is going to benefit him the best, and also
Uh,
has like the best chance.
Lewis, 1 second. Yeah, so 100% agreed. And it seems that Gen, he wants what's best for everyone, and he even follows rules that are set, like don't do this or don't do that. But the thing that was interesting is, whereas the main antagonist or the initial antagonist had a very messed up Darwinistic view because of the trauma that he and his sister experienced. Hyoga's straight up just a Darwinist. He like that's why like he's a backstabber because he thinks he's better than everybody else, and but other than that, I really love this design and his mask, and again the cracks on his lips are perfect. That like, it's like he's a like he's got the gift of the silver tongue. He's a traitor. You can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth. Hey, go ahead.
Yep.
You,
I was gonna say, has there been any people that are like way like the heck? Um,
Honestly, if I may interject for a second, you know who Gen reminds me of? Have you guys ever, you know Dennis Reynolds from the series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, I don't.
Say, all right. Well, he has more or less the same traits. He's on it for himself. As long as he each decides he picks wins, he has no issues.
Yep.
As,
All right. So, what characters do you like? Which characters did you dislike?
I mean,
uh,
I mean the one that I think the one that had the most that I was the most interested in, like with what he was doing, was probably Taiju, or not. Oh no, not
Hydra.
Taiju. Chrome. Sorry. Um.
Oh.
Because Chrome was Chrome had the most. He was at least in the most interesting situation because he was captured by the enemy and he had to
Improvise.
escape. Um, and it was interesting because he actually realized that because the what's his face why is this guy in supporting characters?
Ukyo.
No, Tsukasa. Because
Oh, yeah.
Tsukasa's people just saw him as a primitive, he realized he could just kind of like hide away his ego and then use that to make the rest of them underestimate him. I
Yep.
thought that was interesting. I
Uh,
thought that was
not,
interesting and pretty smart.
Yep.
not just Ukasa, but also the bad cop. The guy who was the bad cop in before the
Yeah, the one
petrification.
the one that Tsukasa whacks in the fucking
Yeah.
crotch.
Yeah, he was. I I kind of find it funny that he sort of turns the leadership is about taking responsibility on its head, where he's like, uh, blame all the failures on me. I also died. Goodbye now. And he runs away.
Yeah, just bury my mask and I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, give them my Char knockoff mask and tell them I died.
Oh god. Okay. Favorite characters? Honestly, Crow was straight up one of the best character developments in this season.
I was gonna say, we should probably talk more about like character developments, and like, I was gonna say, Chrome is the only one that actually had like some level of character development from like the hero side. On the villain side, there really wasn't any. Like other than
Or it's Tsukasa
Hyoga at the
because
end.
not
Hyoga
just
at the end, and then Chrome, and that's the only character development really. The rest of them just kind of went along.
Yeah, Kohaku was all right. Suika all right. Taiju and Yuzuriha they're okay, but the ones you mentioned,
Like,
yep.
and then Senku didn't really develop. Like he had like a couple moments, but like it was more just like it didn't feel like a Senku is the main character. It felt like Senku has all the answers. All the other characters are now just trying to figure out what the fuck he's doing. Like it doesn't add up well. I think that's part of the reason why, and we'll get into the plot. Like this season doesn't feel as good.
Yeah, Nikki.
yeah.
Hey, hold up. And then they had the sudden character development where, and I can't blame them because it's the speed of an anime versus a manga. Nikki Hanada and Ukyo, the dude with the yellow cat with the bow and arrow, their character developments were like light speed.
Yeah.
straight up Judoka, who was a fan of Lillian Weinberg, and a guy who has really good hair because he worked at the Japanese Navy. But you know who else I think had a very good development arc? Kaseki, the old artisan. Have you seen the shit the man makes? Honestly,
Yeah,
I
I
am
mean,
terrified of.
he's like making cars and stuff like that in this one, whereas at first he's just like making in the first season, at first he's just like making glass.
Yeah,
Yep.
I call those baby steps because now he's moved on to bigger shit to do. Like for example, the car that eventually becomes the attack tank.
Yeah.
Honest, that is not an easy. That is not an easy thing to do. Especially, and also the fact these guys end up making carbon fiber in one of the episodes. Like, god damn, they're going to 21st century engineering right now.
Without having a forge, the chemicals, and all of the other stuff. Yay,
Yeah.
science.
Or loom. You know what?
They
brutal.
do have a forge. They do have a forge. They show it.
Yeah,
in the
but
first
not
season.
for a carbon fiber thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also needs to. They
See
also
my
needs to
problem?
loom.
Yeah, I do.
Just-
I do see the problem. There's a few plot holes like that, but we'll get into
A
it.
few, okay. That's general.
Oh my god. Now we're going
You know
to now
what?
we're going to shit.
I hate every single character in this damn thing, and I hate the plot, and I hate all of them because they're
nigga, fuck
stupid,
you.
they're completely unrealistic. I know it's shonen, so whatever. But it's like, could you like at least make the damn thing more
Hey,
like
it's
plausible
education.
to begin with?
It is educational as
That's-
heck, though.
no,
I mean,
no,
look.
that's not.
No, hold up.
No.
Because see,
No, that's not.
Okay, let me finish my sentence before I start doing the same thing to you. So the thing is, I have a decent amount of knowledge for biology, chemistry, and astronomy. This dude, main character, taught me about friggin' Rochelle crystal. What is it? Piezo electric conductivity.
Conduit, yeah.
And it's like I thought that was fiction. I had no idea you could actually get electricity from dumping certain salt rocks into water. Because Hunter x Hunter had mentioned that, and I'm like, that's pretty cool fiction. And I look it up, like, oh, that's an actual thing. What the heck? Like Dr. Stone taught it to me.
You know,
but
Yeah, I mean,
in my case,
it
in my
very
case, I
much
also have
sounds
some
like
back.
it sounds like a science teacher wrote it. So
Yep.
like they're gonna know a lot of those things.
It
Yeah,
looks like
but
an
it's not
automotive
like-
engineer also wrote it in the case of that scene because I respect the fact that of all the cars they had to add with carbon fiber, they had to add the Lexus LFA, a car that took well over 10 years to make, and it's completely made out of carbon fiber. Like Toyota itself,
Let's
three rules that made that thing.
Yeah, he's making a point there. He's
wait,
saying
wait,
like
hold on.
it's
we,
like Stone
we
Age
are
levels.
short on
Yeah,
Yep.
we're
Yeah.
we're
we're
kind of
short
like
on time, so we're going to talk
I
about
know.
Senku
No, hold
and
up,
then
hold
move
up,
on.
Yeah,
No holding up. We
No.
are going to
What
talk-
in
no.
one sentence, what Lewis meant
RJ.
is wait, hold
RJ,
up.
please.
The car took so long, they might as well have been in the Stone Age, which is perfect for this. That's what he was getting at. Anyways, moving forward.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Senku and then move on. I'm going to be honest. I can't stand Senku. I cannot first of all, he doesn't have an interesting personality. His personality is basically like science isn't science cool. And
Well.
then he doesn't seem to have any interests beyond that. And his character development is
Non-existing.
yeah, it's basically look at all the cool stuff I made.
Just
Yeah,
got
I mean,
just
it's
got
a
a massive ego.
Perfect character for shonen genre such as this. So
Not to mention the fact that he's a bit pretentious. He's a
Well,
bit
I mean-
pretentious.
I mean, we're talking about, the same genre that's produced characters like Yusuke and stuff like that.
Gohan.
Yeah.
Um,
what's the other one? Food Wars. The characters that are pretty good developed, like in all areas. I mean, but this is not that kind of show.
yeah.
So
And it's a real problem when your main character, your title character, doesn't get much development and is kind of boring.
well, wait until it's going to be revived third time, like in original material. So spoilers.
Oh boy.
But I mean, it's in original material, so it's kind of coming anyway. But the problem with him is that he is a provider of information. He's an info dump character because he knows all of the crazy stuff you can do with that thing, right? All the science, all the math, all the he is like what is it, Gary Sue essentially to a certain extent in terms of
Gary
like
Stu.
knowing Gary Stu, whatever, you know what I mean.
He was the info dump character,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the issue is that if you have an info dump character as your main star, then it's gonna bleed down and make everything sound terrible.
Well, you
Like,
could-
Imagine.
can
Hold
make
up.
it work,
Hold up.
but not in
Imagine
this show.
Star Trek Next Generation, but the entire show revolves around Data's perspective of everything, and he
yeah,
explains.
exactly. Like it's just
Well,
so
You-
so you're making the info dump character the main character, right? Which can be fine, but the biggest issue with making the info dump character the main character is he already has all the knowledge. So unless you're going to give him other plot devices, like he already knows everything and he knows how he's going to implicate it and he knows what he has to do. It's just learning how to like work with people.
Yeah. I mean,
But
what,
he
what
already
if
made
you-
it so he was already like liked by everyone and didn't have any issues like talking to people. They didn't make him like non-charismatic, so there was no chance for him to grow. There was nothing to grow from. The only thing that was like he had like a moment where like he was upset that like the guy that he was fighting is now like dead, and like that doesn't show any growth. That doesn't show anything. Like
Nope.
that
Nope.
doesn't make you feel for the character. So he's a boring character all the way through, and the other characters are growing around him, and it makes for a and we'll get into this with the plot. It just makes for a boring anime because he can't progress. Like there is no progression line. You're starting a game with a maxed out character. Like,
Yep.
yeah. So
Wow.
and that's really what it is. It's like,
I mean, you
he's
can do it. You look at Bakemonogatari, for example. That's like entirety of these characters, every single one of them.
Yeah,
It's
it-
info dump,
Like,
but it's
yeah.
funny.
Well,
It's actually pretty
I-
good written, but it's just dialogue with the
yeah.
puns.
I'm gonna add to
That's
this.
not what that
I'm gonna
show
add
is
to
all
this
about.
by pointing out Overlord does it really well. The main character of
Oh, yeah.
Overlord, he knows a lot of stuff, both like real life stuff and the fantasy stuff from his MMO and from the world he's been sent to. But Overlord's main character is interesting, even though he's overpowered. He's still learning. Like it's seinen growth for him. There's no shonen or seinen growth for Senku here. And what makes it
Yeah.
worse, what makes it really worse, and I mean bad, is he's basically like I don't even want to say it's kind of like the relationship between Trunks and Vegeta. His dad has done everything before he wakes up. He's like, yeah, my dad's awesome. I'm gonna learn all these techniques, or i.e., I'm gonna. In this case, I'm gonna use his science to bring back everything.
Okay. I think this is gonna be my last point. Is all of his development was in the first season. We got all the information about him in the first season, and then there's nothing more to grow on. And if you just had the first season, it would be like one thing. But then it was just like, oh, we're not gonna kill anyone. Oh, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. And like he's limiting himself, and there was no growth on that limit. Like there was no reason for that limit. There was no like he needs to learn how to negotiate. He needs to learn how to do different things. He's basically just playing 4D chess. He's doing like he's the overpowered brain character, and there's nothing fun about that. There wasn't even any like power up moments. There wasn't any him leveling up to the next level. It wasn't him figuring out a new like thing or science.
Right.
It was like there's just nothing to grow on, and it sucks. Like that's really what like I think the big issue is. I think that we should just move to the plot because like there's nothing to even talk about here.
If he
Speaking of bad writing,
if he had accidentally killed Hyoga while protecting well, not just Tsukasa, but Tsukasa's sister. If something like that had happened, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
That's like
Anyway,
PG
let's move on to the
things.
plot.
Yeah.
The plot.
there's a lot of
alright.
plot.
All right. So
oh no shit.
well, I'm just gonna. Okay.
Well,
They were going out to fight the war, and they came up with some battle strategies, and honestly, their battle strategies sucked.
Yeah, they did.
Can we all agree on that? Like that this,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
all of this was just shoehorned in to just be like, this is how you build a tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tank.
About the only thing that made sense about the plan was them pointing out that most 21st century people will run if they see a tank.
That was pretty
Oh
funny. Yeah.
shit.
That was yeah.
Kinda.
They even used special effects ammo where he just used like a clay disc filled with explosives.
With water.
Yeah,
explosive water.
Boom.
Basically, yeah. Like all of that was awesome, but like the plot that led up to that was just there wasn't any. Like, and again, this just falls into the issue. If you have a character that has no development, the best plot devices was I can't remember his name getting captured.
Chrome.
Chrome. Yeah, Chrome. So like that was the entire plot. Was Chrome got captured. Chrome had to learn things on his own. Chrome had to start thinking like Senku without having Senku around him.
Chrome had to bullshit
And,
his way
and that
out
was-
of the plane.
That was a cool arc. That
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
really cool arc. But like one
Unfortunately-
cool arc isn't the entire anime. Like that's
Unfortunately, that cool arc ended with like, oh, he blows up the jail bars, but now there's like a jail guard right next to it, and the jail guard just doesn't do anything, and he kind of just lets him run away.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of stop showing the guy guarding him,
Convenient.
Yeah.
Much.
as if we're just supposed to forget about it.
I mean,
meanwhile, like he's been reviving like the greatest warriors and like the people that are going to like hold this value. It's like you really think the greatest warriors are gonna let this fucking happen? Like like I said, the second season just seems so shoehorned into like this is how a stone war would happen, but we're not allowed to kill anyone. Like that's basically how it felt. It's just like, yeah, it's like we can't just go in there and just win
Yeah,
because that's too easy.
yeah, that's another thing is like the whole you know, the whole thing was a matter of life and death. I mean, if Sukasa, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
If like if his warriors get into the village, they're going to kill anyone. They're going to kill everyone.
And
But
like all of the people are trained warriors on both sides. Like it just doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to not have people like actually fight and then just be like, oh, like we're going to slowly upgrade. And it's like, okay, these guys are the best, but they don't have the technology, so what's going to be better? How much more technology do we need to even just make them surrender because there's no way that they can win? Like that should be the thing. It's just like siege warfare. It could have been like starving people out. It could have been the idea of just tactical advantages of just being able to like martyr the base over and over again to make it hell to live there. There's so many different tactics they could have used that weren't going to kill people,
No,
and
man.
they chose the dumbest.
Yeah,
it's just
that's too
so
hard to
much.
implement.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so dumb.
It's like, no, man. You know, we're just gonna build a go kart and then put a tank parade float on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
well, they could build a tank, but they can't like come up with a
Tactics.
strategy that
Plan.
makes sense.
like
Just make loud noise.
we have all the science,
Yeah.
but we don't have all of the siege warfare. Like we don't understand how like so many cities were toppled without like actually killing anyone. Like none of this happened. Like okay, cool.
So why do
Oh, it's a
people
headache.
why do people like fall for like American celebrity shows up on the other end of the phone?
No, I know.
This
that was
is
dumb.
Lillian
I-
Weinberg. Yep.
I like the idea that they could have said, like, it's like, this is the message from America. We have a couple agents out here, but it's going to take a long time to get there, maybe like a year or two. But we are on our way. There is still, like, we already started having technology over on this side.
Yeah,
like,
I had a big
This
problem with that.
war is futile. Like it could have easily just said. Well, I mean, even if you would have just said like a tactical, like person, you don't need a super celebrity. You don't need that. That was such a dumb strategy. Like there's so many plot holes in that. It's just this
Also,
entire plot was just
also
terrible.
Gen and Senku acted like it was the most evil thing ever. Like they like kept it secret because from what I understand, they thought it was so evil. It's like what is evil about like deceiving your enemies into like surrendering? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say,
I hated all of it.
the character development for Nikki, I can understand that being a little short, you know, because but man, oh man, OQ, very disappointing. Yeah, it was really cool how like the characters were smart and they're like, yeah, there's something off about this guy. He's not like the others, i.e., like how what they thought about Gen, sort of. Except with Gen, there was an arc. With OQ, it was
Ukio.
yeah, Nikki brings him to the phone, the speaker, and then he immediately, because he's smart, he's like, yeah, you're not real, but I'd like to work with you, and it's like, bro, and his conditions, like he just utters the exact same as the main character. He's like, "I'll work for you, but you know, just make sure nobody dies." Like, yeah, that's not a problem. Like again, no character growth from the main character,
Yeah.
and this is way too easy and fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like who even is this guy? Why is he so concerned? You know, he's like shooting arrows at people. Why is he so concerned about people dying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ironic. That's like being a sniper who's worried about well, gonna pop it open like a watermelon.
Yeah, yeah, he had like some sort of stuff about like backstory why he's so like
He was,
hesitant about people dying, but he's also
So-
shooting arrows at people.
So I think the thing that like it was kind of implemented that like he was like a sonar like dude on a ship, so he could like hear things super
Yeah.
well. But I think that ship, like, it wasn't like said, but like if you're listening to sonar on an important ship and you're that high rank, he's probably on one of the nuclear cruisers.
Yeah, basically the man
Like-
was part of a.
And like he
Basically,
just
the man
didn't
was
wanna,
looked like a submarine.
yeah, he basically just didn't want to like kill anyone. Like that was like his mentality from being in the army. It was just like I don't want anyone more to die. So I kind of get that. Like I understand the character idea, but it just again like a lot of this was there's an idea here, but we're going to not implement anything well. We're going to write it in and just kind of push it and force our like only mentality that we think can kind of work, and it just none of it pieced together well.
It's
None of
like
it
they submitted an early draft of the script.
Yeah, and then just like it's an early draft, and then they're like, okay, so how do we make this work? And then just, did anyone watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This feels
Oh,
like the
God.
7th and 8th season. That's basically what it is. It's just like it's a bunch of people that don't know how to write, trying to write over something that was actually like a fundamentally like decent idea.
Yeah,
Was that the thing where they had a castle and then they stationed all their troops in front of the castle instead of inside it?
Yes, like stuff like that. Yeah.
To make a
there's so many.
Why are we talking?
There's
Why are
just-
we talking about a show that has a throne made out of dildos?
You're being
Oh,
swords.
God.
Anyways, so hold up.
Oh
To make a parallel, and talking about the character development. Hyoga, what I like is the consistency of when they said I think it was I forget what characters they were. They were saying like Hyoga reported that a couple of our grunts died due to poisonous gas. I think he killed them himself. And then it's just implied he's a terrible person. And then it just builds up, and then finally he just reveals himself to be Judas. Except he's like Darwinistic Judas, i.e., I'm stronger than Jesus. I don't need to report him. I'll just kill him myself.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's somebody's guide at least. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, just, the plot was terrible. Like, it started off with so much hope. I was excited for this season, and it died so quickly.
Yeah, when the most exciting thing is the obvious betrayal, that's not a good sign.
Okay.
Can
Can
we
we just
talk
look at
about the
ratings?
elephant in the room?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the elephant?
Yeah, let's just go to ratings because there is no elephant in the room. It was all terrible.
No, I was talking about Sukasa's little sister Mirai, who apparently does the. Yeah.
Yeah. That.
The
The
one
revival arc thing?
the one
Yeah,
he
no.
almost dies protecting. Also,
Yeah.
the one that he was murdering everybody over.
Yeah. Just. Yeah. It's all bad.
Yep.
It's all bad.
Anyway,
Um,
let's move to ratings.
Ratings.
Josh.
Okay. So. I'm just gonna say up front, it's a 5. It was
be generous.
okay. The concept is still good for a kids show. Like, if you don't focus on the plot holes, if you're like showing this to like a child that's around like teenage years and they're interested in science, I think that this is like a decent anime for them. It does what it's supposed to do with like getting people interested in science, and I think that that's the main thing. I thought some of like the concepts of how they got to the points of building certain things were cool. I do love a couple of the characters. Like that's the reason why I'm giving it even a 5 is Rome was really good. I love the builder dude, like the old man that like just built everything. Uh I love like how the tribes worked and just a couple of like those actions and stuff. I thought that the villain designs were really cool, from like the prison guard guy to the spear guy. Like all of them were really cool designs and concepts. It's just everything fell short. So it's like you have all of these really good ideas and it all just kept falling short. So it's like if it would have been executed well, it would have been like an 8 or a 9. It wasn't executed well, so now it's a 5. And if the character sucked, it would have been a 3. Like, and that's where my head's at. So I'm giving it a 5.
All right, Neko.
3. It sucks. I'm sorry, but it just like the first season was like 4 at most to me. It was like, okay, that's a great first 2 episodes maybe, and then it's like, oh, that's a downhill right there, and we're approaching that thing rapidly. Okay, I'm off the train. So yeah, it's bad.
3 you
It's
said?
Yeah, are you just
Hold up,
are you just saying that because you hate shonen anime?
No, I like shonen, but
Yeah.
this one sucks.
Yeah.
Like, look, here's the thing. You can make a good shonen anime about science. We've seen those examples before. This one, it's ain't that Chiff. So, I know there's gonna be a lot of hating comments probably for this.
All
But,
right.
you know, this one moment. That like for about the kid stuff, I think it's more insulting than it's actually teaching anyone because like you don't really have any effort out there in the first place in the actual show. It's just like, oh, here's an info dump about this thing and about that thing and about that. It's like that's not teaching. It's
I don't know,
info dumping. So
I thought like because like the piston, like how that worked, like sticks in my head. Like there was
it's
a lot
like one
of
of
good
them.
moments.
But
Yeah, like there was a
like,
bunch
there's
of those
nothing
moments.
else
That's why, like I said, there was a bunch of those moments where if you're showing like a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, like the show, and then like the fun infograph comes up and like explains it a little bit. I think that that's a fun concept, and that if I was 13 and watching the show, I would have been entertained by those moments.
Yeah, straight up. It reminded me of that stuff when I was a kid. I liked it.
Yeah. So that's
right,
more of
let's
where my
move
head's
on
at.
to let's move on to RJ.
Actually, I'll go after Lewis. Let Lewis do his, because mine's pretty short.
All right, Lewis.
Okay. Man, this was one hell of a downgrade in many aspects, and as much as it hurts, you guys are spot on. This is that kind of anime for people who are into pop science, not actual science. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Rochelle crystals is a good example. It had a good it had a good idea, but realistically, just dumping it in the water is not going to give you fucking electricity.
This is something for redditors, for the most part. This is straight up. This is straight
For
up Reddit
teenagers,
in anime form.
younger teenagers on Reddit. Yep. Go ahead. Anyways, what's your score?
My score. Originally, it was going to be a 6.5, but I'll be honest with you. It's a 6. It's not good, but it's actually not bad either if you binge watch it for 11 episodes. It's something that you kill time with, but that's about as far as it will go. If you want to learn science, go watch Popular Mechanics for Kids instead of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or read a book.
Yeah, and that would have the adults from Reddit, from the mechanics board, and also the automotive board across different threads watching it. This is hey kids, here's a paper mache volcano. Also, here's how it relates to insert grand technology which we will not build.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 6. That's it. And all I'm gonna say is, I'm somebody who tries to be, open-minded. You guys have made me watch anime that I legitimately avoided because it pained me to watch it. So, but the funny thing is, I enjoyed this anime. So it's the opposite effect. It pains
Yeah.
me to give it a 6 because
Yeah.
nothing was notable, and the only thing that was cool was just the Hyoga's design because it reminded me of Zabuza, and that's not a good reason to give it plus points. So I'm gonna keep it at 6. Sorry, Lewis, what was yours again?
It's gonna be 6, and I want to add something real quick. And this is more Chrome's development arc than anyone else. And honestly, this was well deserved for the guy, considering what he was doing in the first season.
Yeah, Krone is the only one that had any significant growth. Holy smokes! Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. That's fine.
I'm gonna. All right, I'm gonna go. Yeah. Here's the deal. Is like, this show has a great premise. All right. It's a fantastic premise to write a story and a universe in and have it be very interesting. And at certain moments, it almost makes it on the premise alone. You kind of want to see it just because there's nothing else really quite like it. The problem is that, like, it just doesn't deliver. I mean, I couldn't think of a dozen shows off the top of my head that have a completely boring premise. Kare Kano, two teenagers date in high school. Right? How boring can you get? But it's a fantastic show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just bad. This is just bad. And I know it's a kids show and all that, but like, children are very, very easily influenced. And I think if it's a kids show, it's even more important that it's well made than if it's made for adults.
Well, it's not an excuse. Like
Certainly
just because
not
it's
an
a kids
excuse.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an excuse to make a shitty thing.
And I think it's more important that it's well made, because I don't think you should be filling a kid's head with crap.
Yeah.
Or generic
misinformation is
science. The worst thing you can teach a kid is generic science.
And there's another show out there that was pretty popular that you can tell, these people weren't into pop science. They actually had a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first season of Kimono Friends. You could tell, like, at the the way they worked, like, the aspects of all the different animals into the show was very good. And they had, like, interviews with actual biologists and zoologists at the end of each episode. And you could tell it was a passion project to teach biology and zoology to kids. And it was very well done. And this wasn't. It just wasn't.
All right. So
And my score, I don't know, 5.
I'm gonna calculate it and compare to Anime List. So
I
our
already
average
did.
is 5.
Yeah.
Our average is 5.
Yeah.
The score is below, and it's a little shocking regarding the scores on those two sites compared to what we gave.
I don't think we've ever had a score be this different from. I'm not even joking.
No, we have. We have.
What was
Wait,
the
what's
last
the
one?
score, Mal?
We gave. I can't remember what anime it was, but like we hated it, and it was below.
The Devil May Cry anime.
No.
Oh,
There was another one.
Oh wait,
It
it
was
was
recent.
Domestic Girlfriend.
That was it.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that
that
was
one
like
we were
an
like-
8.5, and we gave it like a 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one we were like, yeah, we're not okay with incest. Fuck off, show.
Well,
Real
that's
quick,
technically not an incest, but okay.
I'd like to add.
Okay, let's not open this can of worm.
Yeah, I'd like to add one quick thing to what Will said. There was a scene. There was a scene they could have done a lot better, and I'm not just saying this because it's a personal thing from my childhood with science. My first time getting a telescope was great for me when I was a kid. That scene where they surprised him, they told Senku, "We have a surprise for you," and it's obvious they're messing with him. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill you and turn you over to Tsukasa," and he believes them, and they're like, "We were just messing with you. Look, we built you a telescope and an observatory." That was like, it could have been just because how the manga is, but like, it could have been presented a lot better. He could have like added a few like facts about astronomy and like when I was a kid, I used this star to find blah blah blah. Like, add that into that scene. But no, that scene was
Oh.
just like bare bone. It wasn't good.
Right.
No
Yeah,
passion.
let's, all right,
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Hard
sign
to
up
write
for
a good
tonight.
story.
Thank you for anyone who's watched and bared with us through our technical difficulties and all of our other things that have been happening in our lives. There will not be a podcast at the end of this month. This is a late podcast due to problems. Anyway, the next podcast will be in August. And so I hope everyone has a good rest of their July and a good August, and we'll see you then.
Enjoy your
be
Good
doing-
night, everyone.
In
Enjoy
August,
yours-
we're doing the sequel to Gridman. Whatever the
awesome.
fuck
Yes,
that's
we
called.
are.
So just letting everyone know, get hyped for that. Yeah,
Eh,
all right.
Kaiju
We're out.
time.
It's-
Kaiju time.
It's
Hey,
unbelievable.
hey, those guys.
And
I
hey,
mean-
have a happy July.